And welcome back to the show. Well, astronomy, manned exploration, robotic exploration, commercial space, and space history. If those topics sound interesting to you, listen up. Spacefest 3 is the event for any space enthusiast out there.
It is the largest gathering in Arizona of the Pioneer Apollo astronauts, and it's right here in Tucson. Here to tell you more about it is Bobby. Welcome to the show, Bobby.
Hey, I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about Spacefest, the event for any space enthusiast, and as we said, quite a gathering. Who can we expect to pop up?
Well, there's 20 astronauts there and 6 moonwalkers, so it's going to be really cool.
Huge.
I think, that, including the last astronaut on the moon, Gene Cernan, so it's going to be fantastic.
You don't
So,
get to meet folks like that very often, do you?
No, and you can mingle with them over the Star Pass Resort, so it should be a pretty cool event. It goes till Sunday. I think the best part about it is meeting the astronauts.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, and of course, taking a look at some of these really cool things you brought with you today. Some NASA offerings from the 1960s and early 1970s. We've got a bunch of other stuff, too. Start us off with actually that photo right over there.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that in 1903, the Wright brothers flew 120 feet. And here's an actual autographed picture of that first flight that Orville Wright signed. I think it's amazing. And then just, you know, a little over, almost a little less than 60 years later, the Mercury 7, the guys of the Right Stuff, which is that other photo up there, you know, began the space program. So it's pretty incredible.
Unbelievable.
Just pretty incredible.
A couple hundred feet off the ground
And
then
didn't
into
die.
space. Yeah,
Yes.
Can you believe that?
And are these up for display? Are these up for auction? What are these?
I work for a company called RR Auction, and we have an auction every month of this quality stuff. So these are things that we offer each month that you can buy, mostly autographed pictures.
Pieces of history, really.
Yeah, right.
And let's move up front. What is this? What are we looking at?
That's a really rare crew of Apollo 1 who died in 1967. So it's you very seldom see Ed White Grissom on one picture.
Yes.
And that's probably worth about $10,000 to $12,000 in auction. So.
Well, what about the Wright picture? That has to be incredibly rare.
It isn't. It's not as desirable,
Really?
actually. It's very desirable, but it's probably worth about $5,000.
Okay.
Well.
And what about over here?
Well,
very famous.
That's kind of one of the reasons that I'm here is because we just helped our friend Anthony Piscatola with his book, a study guide on a quest for Neil Armstrong's autograph. We provided a lot of exemplars for him. This is a single signed photo of Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, and he stopped signing autographs in 1994. So, although he still walks this earth, he's quite desirable and rare to get his autograph.
Why did he do that?
There's many theories. Anthony talks a lot about them. You know, I think this was his mission. It was his job. He didn't. You know, I think he takes it as the one person that is a symbol of the thousands of people that put people on the moon. So I think he's a reluctant hero, and it's probably one of the reasons.
But he's not the only one, right? This is pretty common with astronauts, is that right?
Well, most of the astronauts will sign. In fact, you can get all their autographs at Spacefest, the ones that are there. I think there's a fee involved with some of them.
Okay.
But the most desirable living astronaut's Neil Armstrong.
Yes, absolutely. And talk a little bit more about the book, if you would. Does it document his life? Is it...
Well, it's an autograph study. So his signature style changed over the years as he went from fighter pilot, shot down in Korea to Gemini astronaut to Apollo astronaut to hero, world hero to reluctant hero. So you can see the differences in his signing, and authenticity is something that's very, very critical. As you can imagine, there's tons of forgeries. When you're dealing with something that's $3,000 to $5,000, you have to know you're buying something authentic. So that's what this guidebook helps you determine.
And Bobby, this isn't framed. What's going on?
You can get a good frame for that.
We'll talk about, though, the authenticity of a signature. How is it that folks can figure out whether it's real or not?
Well, we've been doing this for 30 years, every month. So we've seen millions of autographs in every attempt at fakery, forgery, secretary, auto pen. There's all types of different ways that people would fake them. So we have in-house world-class experts that work for our company, and then we also show it to outside experts to make sure it's right, because we guarantee everything forever. So if we get it wrong, well, we don't like to get it wrong. So we do our due diligence to make sure what you buy from us is authentic.
And not just space. I notice you have Elizabeth Taylor up here.
Yeah, I brought a couple other cool things that we have each month. I know Elizabeth Taylor recently passed away, so I thought this was a pretty beautiful, compelling picture of her and that beautiful ink in her signature. You know, signatures are so neat. You can tell so much about people's personality.
You can.
Even Bogart. Look at the flourish in that Humphrey Bogart photo there with his dog. He's a pretty proud dog owner. So autographs are neat things to collect, and I brought a couple things from Charles Darwin and Marie Curie.
I can't believe that. I mean, they're actually very significant. Tell us about these letters.
Well, one, the Curie piece is the day after she receives the 1903 Nobel Prize for Physics. A journalist like you guys wrote her and said, listen, can you tell me something about your life? And so the whole letter is kind of her biography.
Wow.
So it's fantastic. And she goes, yeah, and I published a little paper on radiation.
No big deal.
So that's really cool. And then the Darwin piece is, he's republishing his Origin of the Species book. So he mentions his most famous work, and it's being shipped to America. So he's talking to his American publisher. So it's really fascinating, great stuff to see, and I get to see it every month.
Wow. Thank you so much for bringing it in.
On.
Sure,
Great.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, make sure to order your tickets to the Space Fest, 3 events happening this Thursday through Sunday, and you can also do that by calling 800-727-NOVA. That's 800-727-6682. It's happening at the Star Pass Resort on Star Pass Boulevard. But for more information, make sure to check out their website, spacefest.info.
And they are holding their RR auction. To learn more about that, you can call 603-732-4280 or go online to rrauction.com. The bidding closes Wednesday, June 15th.